mind the pressure, like the pain pressure, but I need to be stimulated.
Something
wet.
No. I'm not into like changing width. I'm into like a severe choke.
Okay. A severe. But even if you have the biggest dick in America, and
That's
you're not hitting my spot, if you're not hitting my spot,
yeah,
I'm looking at you like, and
that's why size matters.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
I could never remember a time I was like, yes, I did it.
I'm a virgin, baby.
I don't know if I did that.
So I don't know.
If you're with me, you're never gonna be sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
I don't ever want to be recorded. I believe in revenge porn. I think it's a real thing. I think it's happened to a lot of people.
Imagine your man sitting at a conference table and then he just gets hard off of you.
A lot. I'll be like, I'm a prude. I want you to know now, I'm a prude. Unless you ready to commit. And if you're not, you ain't getting nothing. It's not served me. I've always felt that the first time I'm letting go of some form of power, right?
Welcome to the sleepover where we talk all the hot topics. Got my girls, we racking up on all knowledge. Relationships, love and fitness, battle of the sexes, and so much more. Sleepover where we talk all the hot topics. Got my girls, we racking up on all knowledge. So hop on a ride, take a seat, because you're in for a big treat. Welcome to the sleepover, yeah. Welcome to the sleepover, ooh. Welcome to the sleepover, ooh. Welcome to the...
So ladies, is there such a thing as too high of a number for body count?
I think it depends on the age.
No. Yes, age. Yes, I think age plays into it, but no, because why? Why keep counting grown?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't
So
know.
if somebody said 500.
Now that's extreme. That's extreme.
What about 150?
Yeah,
What is
more-
the contact?
First
First of all, people not keeping track of how many people, like, I'm not
Unless
gonna
you
lie,
just-
when I was dating someone, I was, back when
When
we
you
were
were
19 and
younger.
20, but they were older. They were like 27, I was 19, probably something like that. And he was like, yeah, my count is probably about 150. I nearly fainted.
Now that's a lot. That's kind of extreme.
That's a lot.
I'm not trying to talk
That's
about.
a lot.
I'm not trying to talk about an extreme instances. You know what I mean? I'm talking about as
100. Is
as-
that actually extreme, though, for some men?
I think 40 is extreme.
Thank you.
I mean, I think as women, right?
Yeah.
We put so
40
much
is
pressure on.
That is
We put so
dragging.
much pressure on the number, right? Because if my number is too high, what is too high, right? Then I'm a.
What
I think we just
Okay,
said
so-
150.
Right.
We just
Well,
put
no,
a cap
like-
on it.
What, can I ask you a question?
What's the minimum?
Okay, so if you don't mind me asking, what is your body count? Because it also depends on the person that you're asking.
Now, here we go.
I mean, a real.
I'm grown,
She don't
so
share
I
it.
don't feel like I need to.
Yeah,
share.
she don't share it.
Okay.
A
I
woman
carry
does.
myself very well.
Mhm.
Okay.
And you can imagine, think all you want about what I got, what I've done, whatever. But I don't need to share that with you. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Let me tell you,
Gotcha.
this has been her response for the last like 10, 11 years. Like,
Yes. And I feel like it doesn't matter.
None of your business.
I can
Yeah.
have one,
None of
I
your
can have
business.
100. It doesn't matter. Because your perception of somebody can be
And none of my
whatever.
business.
It could be
Yeah.
just out of this world. You know what I mean? But I don't have to share that with you, right?
True, I agree.
It's all about how you carry yourself.
Yeah, I used to put a really heavy emphasis on my number. I don't know other people's number. I'd be like, but maybe, I told you I just say I'm a prude. So I was like, cool. But my number, I used to be very like, no, there's no way I want to go past this limit.
Yeah.
I
Be
will
like that
say, the older I get, it doesn't matter so much for me. It's more about if I wanted it or not, and that's what matters more than like how many. If that makes sense. Like, did I really want this experience, or was I doing it because I felt pressured, or because I felt like I was taking too long, or he was losing like attraction or attention? I think then that's when I'm like, okay. But
I think people's issues with the body count number is because it kind of shows your sexual patterns, right? So I feel like it's not necessarily, like, the number is not that big of a deal, but if we hear 40, if we hear 50, it's like, so
And nobody
how many
wants
times
to
do
be
you
judged, but at the same time, it's like, it's your perspective. Like, if I'm being authentic with myself, and if I want to have sex with whatever the case may be, that's my business. Like, I know who I am, so that's how I feel.
I think that I was so like concerned with having a low number only because
For who, though? You or the other person?
for me because of the excitement of because I know what I bring to the table during sex. So I feel like it's more exciting for like only a like select number.
you were chosen.
And it was just like, I gave it to you, and then like when you go back and you tell your friends how good it was and this and the third, then everybody else wants it, and then you're just not gonna get it.
Yeah.
So I think I was more so like on the side of like the
Conservative.
the curiosity factor.
Mm-hmm.
So
just
I
kind
wanted
of seeing
to
without, just basically testing out what you bring to the table. Is that what you're saying?
no, basically like, okay, so if I have sex with, let's just say
Jim.
two people, Jim or Jim and Bob.
Okay.
If I have sex with Jim and Bob, and this was the best sex that they ever had, I'm personally gonna keep my number low only because I know that so many people want to see for themselves.
It's exclusivity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's top notch. It's like.
So I think that was the only time I really like focused on number.
I think I don't want you out here just giving it to anybody, right?
Right.
I don't want to know.
Sexual
I don't want
patterns.
you to you know,
Sexual
yeah.
patterns.
I don't want to know that you've been with this person and that person and that person, and me and her had the same guy. And this, you know what I mean? Like, damn, all right, you know.
Yeah.
I might feel some sort of way, and I feel like men look at women the same way. Like, I don't want to know my homeboy from my homeboy knows that you hit it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and granted, sometimes being in the same area, right?
Yeah.
You mingle and you know people that know people, right? So sometimes it happens. But I also,
don't want to be at the hair shop getting my hair done, and someone is like, "Oh yeah, so it's okay to say she popping what's his face?"
Girl, me too.
And if I don't even
And
be
I
like
let her
that,
know you
though.
doing it too. Oh Lord, that's what you don't want to be
Too
in.
much. Too much.
That's perspective. I feel like it makes you get in your head. Like you put the story on what the person got going on based off a number. And it's like you don't even know the situation. You don't know what happened. You just don't know. So it's just like.
And I am trying to move forward towards this idea, like I said earlier, like sex positivity.
Yeah.
And I really want to learn. I think as a woman, somehow the message got to me. It's not really for me. Somehow, I don't know.
Not for you.
I guess sex, right? Like I knew I should enjoy it,
So
but I think. Like, my friends would be like, I was like, how many times have you told your husband no? Or your boyfriend or fiance? They'd be like, I never told him no. And I was like, what? I'm like, what if you're tired? I'm going to tell
you I'm tired.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, I'm gonna just tell you.
Yeah.
Right, I think, but it was the messages just always sent, like, a little bit, it's part of the woman's job or responsibility.
Of course, I want to please
to
my
pleasure
man.
their
At the same time,
man.
like I feel like I should be able to be open with
Yeah.
you. Like right now, it's just not the time, babe. Like
Yeah.
you can find another way to please you, but right now, like
Yeah, and as I mature and think through these messages, that makes sense. But for a long time, it didn't feel like it was for me, right? It felt like, oh, this is the way that my man will feel connected or loved or whatever. So I did it, and so I didn't take hold of my sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And now as I get older, I'm really trying to move towards like positive sex, being able to talk about it, experiment with myself, feel comfortable with that. So that in sex is really about me and pleasing myself too, and not just, how do you put it sometimes with me? I don't want to say that, but sometimes she was like, "You're not a victim during sex," and I was like, "Oh, you're right."
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
think,
you
yeah,
know,
it goes
I
back
think
to being a victim.
Yeah.
you need one person to turn you out.
I mean,
it's not even that. It's about your confidence.
Yeah.
It's about your confidence.
Yeah, but like
Confidence.
honestly and truthfully, like if you get that one person that just turns you out and they make you feel comfortable
It's
in
not
that
even
moment
that, though.
and that confidence, like some people can like help pull that confidence out of you.
This is true. Sometimes in the bedroom, right, you can have the right partner, and the right partner, just does it for you, right?
Which has happened.
And yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it helps you, grow in the bedroom and get freaky and do all these things, right? Because your partner makes you comfortable.
yeah.
But
I'm sorry.
But I think sex to me is just super intimate, right? And so I
It is
think,
intimate.
yeah, it's really intimate.
It is
So for
intimate.
me to be comfortable, to be that intimate, takes me a really long time. And I think sometimes I enter sex before I've hit that moment where it's like, oh, I'm ready for this level of
I feel like that's for a
intimacy.
lot of people.
Because I think sex is different for some people. Some people's like, this is the desires of the flesh, and that's what it is. For me, it's like, no, my soul is connecting with yours.
Vulnerability
You know,
is
it's like
connected to
different.
sex,
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah.
for
so-
sure. I agree with you.
So since we're talking about sex, right?
Mhm.
We're talking about what we like, what we dislike. Are you guys interested in like the poly relationship? What are your
Threesomes are poly.
Because it's two different things.
poly?
No, absolutely no.
Okay, and why not?
That is an absolute no, non-negotiable no. It's no.
Why?
First of all, no.
But
It's
why?
just it's a no because honestly and truthfully, I am selfish.
Mhm.
Yes.
I don't like for someone to know what's in between my man's legs. I'm not keen on that. I'm not keen on sharing. I'm not sharing with you. I don't want to be in a bedroom where I have to, if we're having sex, I'm not even like for threesomes either.
Okay.
I'm not for that either because I don't like sharing my man.
So you never done a threesome?
No.
Okay.
And you never would.
I'm not going to say that.
But why are you saying that?
Because
what's the difference?
Yeah, what's holding you back from saying no?
if I'm under the influence,
so you have to be under the influence.
if I'm under the influence, there's no telling what I could do.
Okay.
When it comes
So your inhibitions are lowered. I mean, that's
yeah, I feel like when it comes to poly, I'm here in the middle. I personally, I would never be in one because I know how I am. However, I understand it.
Yeah.
I understand the idea of you can give something that you can't to an extent. James is here. James wants to poly with you and I. If the reason James wants to poly is because you cook and I don't, James just wants his cake and he wants to have his cake and eat it too. That's not a valid enough reason.
Yeah.
Because you can simply tell me like, hey babe, like I want you to cook more. But I can see that there are some qualities that you might have that I don't have, and I get it. It's not for me, but I do not knock it at all.
So do you guys believe that someone can be in love with more than one person?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I do. I hope that never happens with me, right?
Yeah.
But I do believe that it's
Possible.
It's possible.
a possibility. Yeah.
Especially when you talk about connection, history, things like that.
Yeah.
Let's give an example. Let's say that you have a connection with an ex, right? You used to be in love with that ex. Maybe feelings, fire still there, but you met somebody new. Yeah, if it was real. You met somebody new. Fire is there. It's built. That's how you get in love with two different
I
people.
mean like
At the same time.
at the same time, like currently in love with two people.
I don't think there's an equal amount though. You can still love
Yes.
that person, right? But
One is
somebody's
higher.
gonna trump the other one.
Well,
Or it might be
be in
different.
love.
It is gonna be different, but
You know?
it's. I don't think it would be equal to say like let's say.
Because there's eros love. There's like all different
But
kinds of
I feel like love is infinite though. So it's like,
Yeah.
how can you put a limit on love? Like I do feel like you can be in love with two people at the same time.
I've been
But
in
if
love
you're
with
talking
about
about
circumstances.
now let's give a play scenario, okay?
Okay.
Let's say you're dating somebody, right?
Mhm.
But you have this real deep connection with somebody else, right? Like, oh my gosh, I could really see a life with this person, right?
But is that in love or is that
No.
just like
I've been in love with 3 people before.
Hold on, but this is what I'm saying. If you were dating this person, right, but already you got plans to really build a future with this person that you're already with. But the person that you've been connecting with, hanging out, whatever, now something different is starting to happen, right? And now you're placed in a scenario where it's, okay, I need to make a decision. Is somebody's gonna trump the other one. You can't love the same person or two different people.
Can I add
Which
to
is
that?
why
I
poly
don't think.
relationships.
I don't.
Well, no, but
They
I think
kind of
that's not
fail.
determined on love. I think it's more determined on, okay, practicality, right? So I think sometimes when because love, I don't think is always practical. You
It's
know,
not.
it's
It's
just
not,
this
Shay.
feeling that you have, and so I think
You can't
sometimes
Is that love or is it lust? Are you
But you
talking
can't
about?
control who you
No, I
love.
think-
I agree with that
yeah.
because you can't control
You
who you love.
no.
So have y'all been in love with more than one person to
I
like
have.
answer the question?
I've been
At
in
one time?
I've
And
been in love with 3 people at one
How
time.
did you like how did you decide?
How did that happen? How did that
Okay,
come up?
okay, so there's love and there's in love.
Right, but we
No,
said
I've
in love.
been in love with 3 people before.
How did that come up?
It actually I didn't plan for it to happen. It was more so like I was open to dating more than one person at a time.
Which happens
Like
constantly.
I was dating multiple people at a time, and I was getting to know 3 people like together
during the same time.
during the same time frame, and then I just built different relationships with each person individually.
Is that why you said you
So,
wouldn't
but
do
why you
poly?
say no
though?
poly?
I think
But
you-
that's
No,
what
no,
I'm saying.
I
Is
wouldn't
that
be.
why
I,
you
but
say
I
you
would.
wouldn't do poly?
But dating is different from actually being in a relationship
Yeah.
because there's no commitment there.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you love different things about them. To say that you love 3 people at the same time. There's probably different things that you
Yeah,
love.
but
about
honestly
them.
and truthfully, I would have been with all 3 of them equally.
So poly.
No, not together. I'm saying like I can see
dated you when
myself.
I'm ready to date
You
you.
would
I
have
can
dated
see-
them
when
at
I'm ready
different
to date
points.
you.
I can
I
see
guess.
myself dating each and every one of them.
What if one was like, I know you love us 3, and I'm okay with that.
They didn't
I'll
know
stay
about
with
each
you.
other.
Then would you do a poly relationship?
No,
Oh, so you would make yourself pick.
I will make myself. pick.
Oh,
That's
Okay.
why I
Okay.
said you picking. That's a choice.
One
right?
is
You
gonna
can
be
still-
higher than the
somebody's
other.
gonna be higher. If you gotta pick, it is a choice.
But you want to know
Somebody
something?
is higher trumps
Okay,
somebody
but you
over
remember the person I was dating in college. And he still goes by today. I was in love with 2 people at one time.
Okay.
Owns it.
Okay.
But this was his reality.
But he picked.
He didn't pick.
I think the person,
I ended up with someone else.
the person that will make
so
me
you
pick
made
is the
picked.
person I would
Yeah,
not pick.
but he's just always said, like, even in his, like, I was in love with 2 people at one time and I never knew this could happen.
I think it can happen, but realistically, when you say I'm in love with more than one person at a time, right? Because I feel like I've said that before, but at the end of the day, I picked. I picked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, damn, I'm in love with both of these people, right?
Yeah.
But are you, right? Because now I have to choose somebody. Because I'm not doing the polyamorous thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now I gotta make a choice. It's either gonna be you or it's gonna be you.
And I think when it comes down to that, you have to do some self-evaluation.
Yes.
Like, okay,
Yes.
so we were talking about this earlier. Someone's trying to figure out if they really want to date somebody in the industry, but it's just like you got to test yourself out. Like, do I really like you? Is this lust? Is it I just love you? Am I in love with you? You got to start figuring shit out.
Yeah. Ask those hard questions.
Honestly and truthfully, when I was in love with those 3 people, I didn't have to choose anybody.
But let me say this: how did you know that you were in love with all 3 people? What was it that telling you
Because
I'm in love with them?
I knew
Love, yeah.
I knew that individually, each one of those people, I could see myself being with them for the rest of my life.
Okay.
I knew that.
Was it different, like, visions of each? Like,
It was just different visions and different
Okay.
ways of life. But I never picked any of them. I naturally let it fall off. I naturally let it pick itself.
And that was a choice.
I naturally let it just like
Everything
pick itself.
is a choice, y'all.
Yep.
Everything is a choice.
You control
So,
everything.
would you guys take someone back if you were in love, right? We'll do in love, because I think context matters always. Would you take someone back if they cheated on you?
But how do you know if you in
Yes.
love?
That's a deeper question now.
But I'm just saying, because we just talk about love and being in love.
How do you know if you're in love? So I'll be honest, I think I was in love when there was moments where it's moments for me, but like laying on his chest, hearing his heartbeat helped mine beat. You know, like it was just this
So
like
colorful.
but it was like I would literally do that. You know, it's this interconnection of spirits that I felt like he was my left leg and my right arm.
So
You
you
know,
got that from
Energy.
3 people or 2 people at the same
I
time?
haven't been in love with 2 people at one time, so
For
I
me-
don't.
For
I don't
me,
have that
for
experience.
me personally, it was more so. It was more so like I don't know. It's an unexplainable feeling.
Yeah.
It's something that you cannot describe. It is a otherworldly feeling.
Yeah.
Is it like a feeling you get of like joy? You're always happy.
Like
or
you can't explain. It's supernatural,
it's something.
low-key.
It's something you
It's
really
like-
can't explain.
yeah.
It makes you happy. It's what you know you want. You're like
Through anger, through
yeah,
sadness.
like through
It's-
everything you knew.
unconditional.
Yeah, it's
it
very
kind of feels like
unconditional.
another layer to yourself.
Yeah, it's very
low-key.
Yeah.
unconditional.
Okay.
But honestly and
It's like an
truthfully,
extension.
I do believe because I've been in love with just one person before. It is a different type of love when you are in love with multiple people.
Mm.
Like it's a like
So it's
otherworldly.
like they feed something to you. That's
Yes.
just like
It's almost like different pieces to one whole.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. You know, I think being in love is actually one of the most magical things that happens.
It
Absolutely.
is,
Do you know what I mean?
but it's also one of the most scariest.
It's the
things.
scariest.
It's
It's the
terrifying.
scariest. It's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
You're vulnerable,
Mhm.
you know? And I do think people who are in love can hurt each other.
Mhm.
Like, I don't have this idea if you broke up, like, you guys weren't in love. Like, I don't really believe that. I think being in love, you can hurt each other. But I also think it's one of the most beautiful things that can happen. It's like when I hurt, I know you're hurting. When you're hurting, I'm hurting. When I'm happy, you're happy. When you're, you know, it's like this, I don't know. It's just this
different.
relationship that I think is usually unmatched most of the time.
Mhm.
Like, I can't think of any other relationship I had, you know, that was like that. But I also feel that way with friendships, too. Like, I feel like you can be in love with your friends, not in a romantic way, but, you know? So, would you guys consider masturbating cheating in relationships?
It
No.
depends.
No.
I think it depends on the
No.
situation.
I don't.
I don't
I'll
think
be
it's-
honest.
yeah.
What? I
Right.
ain't going to restrict that.
Well, no, I'm not
No.
restricting it. See, like those are two different questions. Like, are you restricting it or do you think it's cheating? I feel like, and for me personally, no. But in a situation where you feel like two people are in a committed relationship, and let's say one person wants to have sex, yeah,
Mhm.
and the other partner says no, and then they go and they masturbate.
That's tough.
But that's a situation.
But you,
That's
and
tough.
that's why, but no, that's why I said,
That's
when,
what
but you
go
pose the
after
question.
I don't think
But you
there's
pose
nothing
the
wrong with
question. But you pose the question. So I'm saying, in the case of somebody thinking it's cheating, I'm looking at it from their perspective.
Oh,
To
okay.
me, I would feel, you wouldn't feel a type of way if you said, "Oh,
So
like
you don't
I
want
want
to have sex with me.
but you want to go have sex with
Oh,
the computer."
I thought you were saying like I didn't want to have
No,
sex.
listen.
He did, and he wouldn't
No,
masturbate.
like-
I was
Okay,
confused.
so do you think that masturbating is a form of cheating?
I personally don't, but like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate, looking at it from somebody that does. I can see that if you're with your man and you're trying to, like, you're done up and you're cute
Okay.
and you're trying to come on to him and he says no and then he goes and
But
masturbates.
that's a situation. That's a situation. I don't think
Yeah,
masturbation
to me, I don't-
per se is
Yeah.
cheating.
I wouldn't see it as cheating. I would start to think and inquire what's going on, right?
Yeah.
You know, like you are
I'm curious.
sexually aroused right now, and you don't want to have sex
Why
with
can't I
me.
get
What
you
it
off?
is.
Why can't
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
you off?
Okay,
but-
so let me ask you another question to play off of your question. Do you think would you think it's a form of cheating if, let's just say, you walk into a room? Since everyone here feels like that masturbation isn't a form of cheating.
Yeah.
Right?
What if you walked into a room and you saw your significant other masturbating to something that you're not?
You
I
like
wouldn't see it
another
as
person?
cheating.
Meaning like
Give an
like-
actual example.
For an actual example,
Like
Yes.
they were masturbating to.
Hold on.
like
Man.
masturbating, like meaning like if you saw them, you walked in the room, they was watching porn and they was watching maybe, let's say, a trans woman,
I thought you was going there.
or a white woman. Is it a form of cheating then?
Listen.
Honestly, for me, I think it's two different things. I'm gonna question you regardless and ask what's going on. However, I feel like have nothing against transgender women at all. If I see that, I'm gonna try to figure out what is steering you to go actually type in this, to go look at this, to go do this to this. Like, where's this coming from?
Right.
Is this something that you fantasize about? Is it something you like? I want to know what my man, what he like. I want to know what he's thinking.
Because there are levels, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're all human beings,
Mhm.
yeah? We are all attracted to whatever.
Yeah.
It's levels to it, right? So when we're walking down the street, we can all acknowledge if someone is attractive.
Yeah.
Are you gonna act on it? I feel like what you just
Act
asked
on it.
is acting on it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, technically, the only reason I ask that because some men and some women are into, let's say per se, pegging.
What is that?
What is that?
It's
Hey, what
basically
is that?
it's basically like, sometimes like women and men, a man would like their woman to penetrate them. Like, how like some men like when you eat them, like,
Like trick
Eat
daddy?
that ass.
yes, like trick daddy.
Trick daddy?
You know how some
I think that's a bit much.
no,
I'm
but
gonna keep it real.
the thing
I think
is
it's a bit
that
much for me.
let's just say that
Mm-hmm.
and they go and they type in a trans woman because number one, they have something that they can peg someone with that is already attached to their body.
I think if you're being honest, if I walked in a room and my man, if I walk in him on him masturbating, I might just be caught off guard, just in general. Like,
I
whoop,
wouldn't.
that was a personal moment.
I'll come back.
But then-
Damn,
What
I'll
you doing?
come
But
back.
like-
I'll come back when you're done.
You know, I would just be like, oh, that was
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
a private time,
yeah.
you know, because
Yeah.
sometimes that might be a private time, you know. Now, if I see something on the
should've locked
screen,
it.
whatever that is, and I'm surprised to see it, I'm going to be surprised to see it, whether it was a trans woman or two gay men or I don't know, what do they call it? A gangbang, for lack of a better word, like
Yes.
things like that. I'd be like, wow, who knew? Like, I didn't know that this was part of your sexual interest and desire. So then I start to question more about like, okay, how well do we know each other? What's going on here? Why don't we have these discussions? Are you hiding
But-
more things about your
But
sexuality?
it also
But then
doesn't
I
make
also-
him. It doesn't make them any less attracted to you.
No,
Yeah,
not at
I
all.
feel
But
like-
I'm very open in my relationship.
Yeah, because it could be just a mental
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like, maybe they just like where the mentalness
But-
takes them.
or maybe
Why-
they
But
but
I
like
feel like it
trans
has to do,
women,
but I
right?
just feel
But
like
I
it has to
think-
do with sexuality, right? Because
Yeah.
you just mentioned of the eating of the, right?
Yeah, the booty hole.
Okay, we all know where men's G-spots are. Like, we know where they are. So I personally feel
Do
like,
we?
So would you toss a man salad?
absolutely
No.
not. I'm not.
Nah,
But
that shit.
what I'm trying to get to is I feel like that's society. We put stigmas on everything.
Yeah.
We try to
So
make
you would-
everything black and white when in actuality, to me, that in this
Can I
specific
ask you a
case, it
question?
may be sexual.
So you would say no if your man says, hey, I want you to eat.
Yeah, why
I'm
aren't you
saying
why,
no.
why aren't you eating the boot hole?
Why am I not eating where something
No.
is coming out? Did
Yeah,
you just ask me
that's
that?
my thing.
Okay,
let
so
me
how
look-
would you
let me
feel
tell
if
what
he
it
did that
Uh-uh.
to you?
I'm the same way. I don't
So
know.
if
I
he
don't
was,
mind
if
it.
you,
don't want
no, 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 no.
anyone
if you are spread eagle in your bed and you have your legs
It
up
just happened
and
to
he
happen,
is eating
okay?
your vagina, I'm talking
Uh-huh.
about eating it like
Uh-huh.
it's Last Supper.
Let's go.
And then
Wait a
he
minute.
decides to go down and eat your ass.
That's
I'ma
happened
How is-
before.
I'm gonna move that head. I'm gonna boop you back. Cause listen. Okay,
You might be in the moment.
you may be in the moment, and I'm not gonna stop you. But if you ask me
So
outright,
who's to say that when you're sucking his dick that you're not in the moment and you mess around and you get to them balls and you actually eat him out?
listen.
I think it depends on the
I know
couple.
what
I think
comes
it
out.
depends on the
I
couple.
know what comes out.
Surprise me.
I'm not doing it.
I think it
I'm
depends on the
gonna do
couple.
it.
I think it depends on the couple. To be real, you know what I mean? Because if that's what y'all want to do or y'all want to
I mean,
experiment
and I
or
think
whatever, that's what happens in your bedroom on y'all's time. Don't nobody gonna know what y'all do. Okay?
See, and to me, like that's not even the issue. There's not an issue with it. I'm logic. I'm thinking what's happening
Yeah.
there. Like I can't. I
You can
can't.
never say what would never happen.
But honestly,
Right,
and
you can-
truthfully,
I agree with that.
We
You know,
cannot equate what's happening there with anything because honestly and truthfully, let's be honest. Cisgender women bleed out of what you want them to eat.
It actually depends.
It's more than
But you know, that depends.
So-
Yeah,
That's-
there's
that's-
more
that's-
than one.
you know,
It-
I mean, I get that, but
Yeah,
at the
But
same
more
there's a
than
lot
one,
of dudes
but-
who, and this is gonna sound probably nasty to a lot of people,
I
but
know.
there's a lot of men who will do it while you're on.
As we talk about preferences during sex, right? I think this also kind of plays a part with like our love languages.
Mhm.
So how would you describe your love language?
My
in
love,
relationships?
my love language is the gift of giving and receiving and words of affirmation.
I'm words of affirmation. But then outside of like the cute little like Google definition of love languages, I'm all about. I was just having this conversation actually like a week ago.
I was too.
I'm about closeness. I want to feel outside of intimacy, outside of sex. Like this is great, but I just want to feel close. Like I want to feel like
Touch. Sense of
we
touch.
are connected. And then it doesn't even, we don't have to touch.
Okay.
I just want to feel like we're connected. I want to feel like we're as one. That's very important and crucial to me in a relationship, specifically when sex is involved.
But how do
as
you
well.
how do you know? What's the connection? Like what is done for you to know we're connected? I'm just curious.
Mentally.
Mentally, starting, emotionally, physical, it's all of it, and then it goes back to like that sense of energy. Again, I'm really big on energy,
But
and I
honestly,
can
that's
feel.
the basis of a successful relationship.
Is it?
So how is that like a love language? Because that's something that everyone expects.
It's something that everyone expects, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna get it.
That's true.
Then those are two
Yeah, and I'm
different
gonna be
things.
honest. I think I have met individuals where that closeness is not their love language. Like
Exactly.
their love language is understanding. Like I don't need that. like that you.
I
Can
think that's
respect
that's part of my love language too. I don't
Mhm.
need to be in my significant other's face 24/7. I
Mhm.
don't want us to live together. I actually am very open to being married and not living in the same household.
How and why?
That's interesting.
Because why?
I like my space. I like to be alone. I
But you can
like.
have your space in the
Have
same
you lived
house.
with somebody
what's the
before?
point of being
I
married?
have lived with someone before. I've lived with the significant other before.
Well, how you marry somebody and don't live with them? Like, can't you just be separate
I
in the same house?
mean, we can have our own houses,
But
and
why?
then we can just all
Yeah.
always like we may spend more time in one house than the other, but definitely it is for
Yeah,
me.
But why we married?
For
Yeah.
me personally, I would like to have my own house.
But do
I
you
don't
feel like
think-
that's a block?
No,
So you don't feel like in a situation.
you have your things, I have my things. We're walking into this situation, we're leaving with the same things we came in with.
But you can
But
do
you
that
can
in the
still
same
do
house.
that. No, but like
But
you can. Like you can have your own property and
Being
they
in
have
the
their
same
own.
house can sometimes be not trying to be funny, but being in the same house can be sometimes too close, even if you're not in the same room.
Go in another room.
Yeah.
Even when you're not in the same room,
How?
it can still be too close.
But then again,
But-
marriage is work, right? So
Mhm.
if something's not working out with us right now, all right, you go get your space, go hang out, go be gone for the day. All right, let's come back and talk about it. But
Yeah.
for you to say I'll be married, but we could live separately, like
What's the point?
We
No,
don't
we
have
can-
the spaces.
no,
for that.
we can. It's I don't want to say live because at the same time, like I want my own house and I want you to have your own.
But you can still do that and still have a house together. So why would you not have a house together? And if y'all have an issue, just go to your house.
No, I would want it more so like we just spend time at one person's house more than the other.
Yeah, I think,
So date.
No, I think marriage,
marriage?
I don't think one person should dictate what a marriage looks like. To me, I feel like for each person, marriage may look a little different.
It could, but I'm
Depending
just
on, have you
curious why.
experienced negative things in life or traumas where you're like, I know this is what I need for me to be mentally healthy. And you find a partner who believes that, but you still believe in this lifelong union with one
Right.
another.
And then
I think that is something that can be very successful. It's like meeting someone where they are and understanding their love language, you know?
yeah, and then me personally, being who I am, my marriage wouldn't be traditional anyways.
That's
Okay,
true,
which is
yeah.
understandable.
And so it's like having this respect for the differences, right?
Right, I have respect. I'm just curious to know why.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I was asking the questions. But
Yeah, and we're going to dive so much more into this conversation later on throughout the series, right? Really talking about self-love and how do we know what we want in relationships by knowing who we are, right? I think today we talked about some fiery stuff,
Definitely.
right?
Yes, we did.
I thank you, ladies, and I thank you all at home for coming and enjoying with us. Join us next time for an episode of The Sleepover.
Welcome to the sleepover.
Bye!
Welcome to the sleepover. Oh, welcome to the sleepover. Yeah, yeah. Welcome to the sleepover.